is today what we will be putting forward is something that what is storytelling. Okay, yeah, we all know, we are going to learn about that, but I am also going to give you what all things that I have learned about storytelling over the years, what I have experienced, what I have applied in my classrooms, and what worked, what did not work. All right. And you as teachers, I know, I'm sure you also uh, will be having so many different techniques and those tricks that we use. And let's see, if we get a chance, we'll be sharing it. We'll be sharing with each other all our secrets and everything. uh, all right now. So next is, here are some pointers. What the thing is that why to be on mute, since it's a long, it's a group of 100. So if we allow the teachers or allow anybody to keep muting or unmuting, first we will be listening to different beautiful melodious ringtones, and also we will be when we leave our preschool children in the class unattended, what havoc it creates in the classroom. This is what will happen when where there's people muting and unmuting on and off. So let's avoid that. We have raise up high. Of course, we have in Zoom, we have that you can raise your hand and put across. It will come under our attention that what query or what you have. Second, see, this being a huge group, of course, I would want to connect with all of you and know. In fact, I was hoping that, if you all could introduce each other and it would become more like you know, a fun session. I was trying that, but of course, that doesn't happen because since we are a huge group, and you can of course mail us your any doubts, any queries, any feedbacks, anything. You can definitely mail us. The email ID will be shared to you soon. And please keep an eye on the announcements that we have at Edu Projects. And of course, the most important is the Edu POV. Edu POV is what makes us different from the basic storytelling sessions or workshops that happen. What is this that edu POV will make our little, हमको थोड़ा हटके बना देगा सबसे. Okay. So yes, let's go. Just let me just give you a brief overview of what all things that we are going to cover. So, of course, when it's about storytelling, we all know the benefits of storytelling. And as teachers, if I tell you to write down just 10 benefits of storytelling, you will be faster than the Google also. Because, you are the one who are experiencing, who are doing this in the classrooms. But still, we'll be having a quick overview of what storytelling is. And of course, then we have the elements that are required. कि अभी हमने कोई सब्जी बनाई, उसमें हमने नमक ही नहीं डाला, तो वो जो हमारा की एलिमेंट है, तो सब्जी का स्वाद वैसा नहीं आएगा जो नमक के साथ आएगा. So this is what I'm trying to tell you is the key elements of storytelling. जो थोड़ी थोड़ी चीजें that you need to keep in mind. Next up, we have prepping up for our story sessions. Story sessions on regular basis, or if you do it once in a while, there has to be some kind of a preparations that's required. If you are making a new recipe, you need to prepare, like ingredients leke aao, usko prep karo, chop the veggies, whatever we are making, and then we go ahead with it. So that's what the prepping up is. Next up, we have some storytelling session techniques. So these techniques are what different ways in which you can conduct stories in your classroom. And last up is we have demonstrations, and I really hope that we have few teachers coming up and demonstrating their techniques or anything that they've learned today and putting it up for all of us. All right. So, and then we'll be concluding our session. So just without much ado, let's go ahead. Now, yeah. So, when we talk about benefits of storytelling, before that, I would just like to say, what are stories? When we talk about, chalo, we are going to talk about storytelling, we are going to do it in detail. But what are stories? Stories are, for me, according to me, I have not Google searched the meaning, and nor I want to know, nor I want to know what any learner or any scholar said about it. It is more about what we are going to do, what practicality, how we apply to our classrooms. All right. So, for example, we have this book over here. This book can also be a can also have a story. Anything around you right now, we are having this session also can be is a story for all of us. Okay, I attended this is session. There were so many amazing teachers together, and it was such a great experience, you know. So this is what these anecdotes, that incidences that go on, that happen in our life, they all are stories end of the day. So before, like, getting back to benefits of storytelling, we have language development. The first, I have just comprised it in such a way that we are not going to cover every particular domain that has, you know, that the development, the domains that are used in the development of these for children, but I have just focused on those important ones, those which are used most in our class and which we work more upon. The very first thing we have is the language development. As you say, stories, we do narration, we help, you know, we are using different words, we are using, you know, they are learning formation of sentences to language development through stories. So this is what we are going to talk about. For example, now we have language development. Let's just talk about it in little detail. The very first benefit is that new vocabulary. When we are narrating a story, for example, Goldilocks and the Three Bears, so we have, you know, the Goldilocks went inside the house. So inside the house. So this is what the children are learning. You know, they are entering. She entered the house. This is the new vocabulary. She was scared. So scared is a term that they understood. They are going to then, they are understanding the meaning. They're expanding their vocabulary. They are understanding the phrases, the sentences that we use, how are the questions asked, what are the answers that are given to those questions. So they are learning that. Okay, next up we have rhythm and melodies of language. Rhythm is, see, stories, when you talk about, you know, the elephant entered the jungle and he went on like thump, thump, thump. So, you know, it's the sound, it's these things that they are learning, it's these expressions they are learning, which they can put across in their language, in their, um, when they are communicating. Next up, of course, when you have your vocabulary, when your sentence formation is learning, you're developing it through stories, they are developing their fluency also. See, stories, it should not, like, it's not restricted only to, like, narrating stories in Hindi, or sorry, in English. You can narrate stories in Hindi as well, in your any language, whatever language we are using it, they are learning that language and they are going to apply that language. So this is what, and by having fun, by listening to these stories, is what they are learning. That's the best part when it comes to storytelling. uh, for From our point of view, what I would say is, you can use these stories for enhancing their the focus on phonics. When you talk, like, for example, if you're doing a story on the elephant, as I said, the elephant, and if you're doing the blends like uh, not elephant, chalo, let's do this. If you're doing the blends like for sure, sure. So, then you can use a story where, shh, I can hear somebody, and who could it be? Let's have a look. So it is shark. So, they are learning that, these blends, where are they applied? It is not, or these blends are not only restricted to the books, it is where they are applied in our language. Pronunciation is, of course, we have, along with this, we are talking about pronunciation. Now, certain words which look, how they look in the book and how we speak are very different. When we put those words into narration, is when the children learn and they understand. All right. So that's there. So that's our perspective, what we can use it, what storytelling is in language development. Next up, the best part is imaginative skills. Imaginative skills is something, stories and imagination, they go hand in hand. All right. So अगर हम स्टोरीज की बात कर रहे हैं, हम बच्चों को वो इमेजिनेटिव दुनिया में लेके जा रहे हैं, वो दुनिया में जहां पर दे कैन थिंक anything is possible, and anything and everything can be done there. We help them use their imagination. Thinking out of box is what happens when we talk about storytelling. So yes, stories is where I have so many anecdotes on when it comes to children applying or using that imagination and coming up with fascinating stories. Like, as teachers, you all will also know, if you are having you'll be narrating a story, or you ask a child about any particular incident, they will come up with those amazing sentences or ideas or anything, and this is nothing but imagination. And it is this imagination is enhanced or fostered through storytelling. Of course, imagination, creativity, all this comes. I'm not going to go much into detail of every little thing, not too much of too much of theoretical knowledge on storytelling, because here as teachers, we all know more is what is required is practicality. But still, I'll be just giving you a quick overview of this. And last up is, of course, at this age, our focus is that, they increase their attention span. And stories are the best ways when it comes to increasing their attention span. So, when they are listening, they are focusing, they are paying attention. And this is how we can, it pushes their attention span way ahead. From our point of view, I've just understood one single thing when it comes to imagination is this: the true sign of intelligence is not knowledge but imagination, as said by the great Albert Einstein. So ये जो चीज है ना, ये चीज हमें याद रखनी है कि स्टोरीज से हम सिखा तो बहुत चीजें रहे हैं, बट जो इमेजिनेशन है, जो बच्चे सोच के जो बच्चे कर सकते हैं, वो टैपिंग इनटू दोस इमेजिनेटिव skills is what storytelling is and what story can do for a child. Next up, jo benefit, the third domain, the last domain when I'm talking about the benefits of storytelling is social and emotional growth. Social and emotional growth, of course, this all three things what I have said: language, imagination, and social emotional growth. All these three things, they go quite hand in hand. When you go to see, अगर language है तो they are able to express themselves, they are able to discuss these things, they are able to share their point of view. And this is, if they are able to do all of this, of course it will help in their emotional growth. And of course, if they'll be able to communicate with others, and it will help in their social well-being as well. So, and through stories, most importantly, they are learning the behaviors, the empathy, like, in if there's a particular story, for example, the 101 Dalmatian stories, all the children, I'm sure, they hate Cruella. I mean, they detest that character. Why? Because through that character they are understanding, that okay, she meant harm to those little puppies, she was little cruel towards them. So those are the behaviors that are not acceptable. So this is what stories do: they teach them the true, the socially acceptable behaviors, along with that empathy, empathize with them. They also start understanding their feelings. I remember when I was doing this particular story, and wherein the brother was little jealous of his baby sister who was just born. And we were just, the story was basically that him trying to his parents were trying to help him come out of that feeling, that overcoming that feeling. And I remember after the story, after like I think after 2 3 days of the narrating the story, a child came to me, and she's like, ma'am, teacher, just like the character in that story, I don't remember the name of the character, but the character in the story, even I feel, like my brother should not have come, he should have stayed in the hospital. So, and then she's like, that's when I come to know that I was jealous of him, and now I am no longer jealous of him because I know he is my family. So this completely came, I did not intend to do the story for that particular child or for that particular reason or anything as such. It just came out, and what I'm telling you is the beauty of the story telling is that the child associated her own feelings with this, and she could share it, she shared it with me. So that's like a beautiful thing. And next up we have, of course, what I just already mentioned is it develops, social skills, promotes cooperation, between children, because if you know how to communicate, if you know how to discuss, you will be able to, there will be cooperation, of course, over there. Next up, okay, from our point of view, what I would like to say is this, as you can remember, Kabhi Khushi Kabhi Gum and this Kareena Kapoor's character talking about, like good looks, good looks, good looks. But from my point of view, it is, what do storytelling, when it leads to this social and emotional growth. Storytelling leads to confidence, confidence, confidence in the children, and through confidence it is self appreciation that is most important. And right now in these times, this is something that, uh, this particular quality is what, every child should have, appreciate themselves. Yeah, so that's what storytelling does for me. Confidence, confidence, confidence. Okay, next up, moving ahead, we are doing the key elements of a great storytelling session. Um, any storytelling session, according to me, when done with full interest or with that, excitement, is a great storytelling session, of course. But it is also these tiny, tiny bits of factors, tiny factors that are needed to make it greater. Like, first we have selecting the story, then we have expressive reading, और लास्ट में है इंटरैक्टिव टेक्निक्स. अभी ये जो इंटरैक्टिव टेक्निक्स तक, आई एम श्योर टीचर्स, आई वुड लव टू interact and try coming up with our own story. So let's see how we go ahead with that. Let's start up with selecting the story. पहली चीज, most important, it should be age appropriate. I have seen teachers in junior KG, for junior KG children, teaching those stories like, which a first grader would be able to connect more with, but not a junior KG child. Or if the story is very simple, very basic, la, for a junior KG child, but it's still being taught or it's still being narrated, you can't expect that kind of a reaction or an that feedback which you expect from the children. You can't expect that, but it should be age appropriate. ये जो है ना वो बहुत, like at this age, what do children connect with? First is preschool. The best part is they connect with anything when it comes to animals. Animals आ गए मतलब story उनको, they will enjoy it. It's this age that they enjoy. It's at this age where they connect to animals more than humans. And of course we have uh, a repetitive, ये जो मैंने, I have just highlighted also repetition. You all know, preschool teachers ho, you know how important repetition is. Without repeating a certain your concepts or you won't be able to, uh, it doesn't work, because the children will end up forgetting it. So repetition, say, if you see our stories also in Goldilocks, for example, let me continue with that example. In Goldilocks, there is repetition. So Goldilocks tasted the first bowl of porridge. Ah, it was too hot. Goldilocks tasted the second bowl of porridge. Ah, it was too cold. Then she tasted the third bowl of porridge, and that was perfect. So here we saw the repetition, and this goes on for when she sits on the chair or when she goes into the bedroom to sleep. So this repetition goes on. So there's a sequence which we are following and which the children remember. So repetition is important, and of course, rhyming. The more songs you add into your story, or the more that just songs or one liners that you add in your story, and it works wonders because they will never forget. I remember with Goldilocks only, I did Goldilocks for the senior KG children, and I just added this song. There's this song, the bear went over the mountain, the bear went over the mountain. So if you know that song, so what I did was we had used this song when the bears went for a walk now, the bears went for a walk now, the bears went for a walk now, and Goldilocks entered the house, and Goldilocks entered the house. So the children, even when I met them when they were in third grade, they could remember this particular story and this particular song which we made. And by the end of the story, they only made up their own songs with the same tune. Like Goldilocks went into the room now, Goldilocks went into the room now. So, this is what repetition, rhyming of like these melodies do. They work wonders. And our point of view now, this is something which I would like to put some light upon. Uh, we have been focusing, on many of those classics or many of these standardized stories from the western part of the world. Why are we not looking into our own pockets? Basically, pockets in the sense our own country is full of these amazing stories which quite relate to our own culture. I have just looked across, and I've just found few of those, like, Panchatantra stories are those which, play school children, be it play school, little bit simplified we can use, but for nursery, they will completely connect to it. And all these are teaching them something or other. All these stories, it has some added value, moral values, which are quite associated to our Indian culture as well. So we have Jakarta Tales, we have Akbar and Birbal, Tenali Raman. So all these amazing like collection of stories is what I would really hope that our schools, all the teachers start using them in schools. कि अब Goldilocks का जमाना गया, अभी इनका जमाना है. So that's what I would say, and these are quite age appropriate for our preschool children. So why not put it across? Let's just do that, teachers. Come on. That's our point of view. What we would say of when it comes to selecting of stories. Next up, as I said, was expressive reading. It is these that we have to remember the tones and the pitches. Okay. Now, these expressive reading really reminds me of some funny incidences that used to go on. Like for this 101 Dalmatian story, I was doing the story for the month of Disney from one of my sessions, and for Cruella, I had come up with this voice, like, Cruella, I am going to take these puppies away. And these voice modulation, I remember some children bursting into laughter, and some who actually genuinely got scared, that they were not happy with that voice. But it was fun because they enjoyed, they were all having a blast despite of that. So this is something, those varied tones. And of course, teachers, you use those different voice modulations and different techniques in everything. Like एक चीज जो हम अब लेटर ए भी हम इंट्रोड्यूस कर रहे हैं, हम इतना एक्साइटमेंट के साथ आप इंट्रोड्यूस करते हैं कि it just comes naturally. सो ये जरूरी नहीं है, बट वो जो वॉइस थोड़ा पिच ऊपर नीचे किया या स्टोरी में कुछ एक, you put in that little bit of, if you're talking about Goldilocks, and she has that soft and docile voice. Oh, I know. I'm super hungry. I can smell something yummy in the kitchen. So वो noise, फिर वो पापा बेर थोड़ा grumpily बोलेंगे, like who ate my porridge, you know things like that. So ये this is, please use these varied tones है, pitches है, voice modulation जो कहते हैं, use that. And of course the second thing which I'm telling you is exaggerate the voices. This is, I don't have to ponder much upon, because as teachers, and as especially preschool teachers, it is always done. Different characters है, different voice दे दिया, different characteristic दे दिया. For example, चलो bear है तो पापा bear will, he'll be like who ate my porridge, and mama bear will be like I have no idea, like this was silly, but just something like that. So this is what expressive reading is. Let's have a look at the practical approach. Now this is also practical what I said, but let's look at our approach, what we say. Before that, let me just read this passage for you, and I will read the passage in two parts, but in two different ways. All right, and then you can put it in the chat box, which part did you liked more or what. Okay. The nervous little bird. High up in a tree, a little bird named Pip stared down at the ground far below. I can't do it, Pip whispered, trembling. You can, Pip. Just spread your wings, called his mother from the branch beside him. This was the first thing. The second one, the second part, which I'll be doing it in a different way. Pip closed his eyes and took a deep breath. Whew, okay, okay, here I go. He jumped, flapping his tiny wings furiously, wobbling in the air. I am flying! Pip shouted with excitement, his fear turning into joy. I knew you could do it, said his mama. She cheered for him. Pip soared higher, laughing as the wind rushed past him, proud of his bravery. Okay, so these were the two different ways, two different things of expressing, of narrating a story. Uh, Come on, I would like to see some chats. Option one, option two, which one you all liked? So I know my teachers are still awake. Okay, chalo. Yeah, of course. Okay, great. Thank you, teachers. Thank you so much. And so with this, you've learned one thing, and I've understood one thing. First, what you've understood is the difference in the expression, the difference in getting into that character of the story, and what just narrating it is how what you've understood the difference. Second, I've understood that yeah, I am not that boring, and you all are still awake. Okay, so let's go ahead and let's do the next part. The next thing that we have here is the interactive techniques. Now, what two things? Now, once I know, I would again share an anecdote of when this was when I was in a teacher for nursery class. So I just happened to narrate a story, and while narrating the story, I got so involved while narrating the story that the children were just listening, and I thought they were just having a good time, and I just went on with the story. And when I ended the story, they were like quiet. They were not like they were just smiling, nothing much. They were not reacting much. So I just asked them questions. Okay, let me see. And when I asked one of the child who got the milk, there was a story wherein uh, a little girl gets milk for the old man. So I like, who got the milk for the old man? And that little girl, her name was Anisha Bedi, like my student, and she is just staring at me, and she's like, "Teacher, वो तो दूध वाला भैया लाता है, right?" And like, so basically, what I'm trying to tell you is, when I got involved into the story, I did not involve the children as much as I should have. And what happened was, they were just, they were not paying attention to exactly what I'm saying, what the story I was narrating. Yeah, just a moment. Yeah, you can iPhone, right? Yeah, you can just send a message or drop in the message, and I'll see you've raised your hand, right? Yeah, you can just drop in a message in the chat box. I'll understand. All right. So next up, then we have, so basically what I'm trying to tell you is, engage the children by asking them questions. Middle of the story, you're narrating a story, drop a question. You are narrating, you move little ahead, drop another question. And not only related to the stories, but do drop open-ended questions. Open-ended in the sense कि हम जो अगर if you would have been in this situation, what would you do? If uh, like something, things like that, because we want them to be involved and to keep their thinking wheels churning. And of course, in interactive, we have, tell them to make predictions. Abhi midway story hai where the climax is going to come, ki this is what's going to happen. And then you let the children, uh, ask the children, what do you think will happen next? What do you think when the bears see Goldilocks sleeping in baby bear's bed? What do you think the bears will do next? So, things like that. So it will keep them involved into the story, and it will make them a part of the story. Yeah. Next up we have is our point of view. Now, this is something which is really special to me, and I will be needing some involvement of my teachers as well. This is build your a story together. This technique has worked wonders in all the sessions wherever I've done. And it is basically these, I have these deck cards over here, colorful, cards. These were made, designed by me. These were basically, I use it to build a story together. It's kind of a game or a technique that we use. I do it with my children. I have done it with in so many of my sessions as well. So these cards have different things, and every child will get, will pick up one card at a time and will continue the story. For example, let me give you an example. I picked up this card. It's a jungle card. Once upon a time, uh, in a deep in the jungle, there were many animals who lived there. Okay, fine. Now, another student will pick up this card if it comes the detective card. So the child will say, and there entered a detective called Sam, who was searching for the most unique kind of an animal. Okay, so this we are continuing, we are building a story together. There, the third one, sorry. So the third child, when he picks up, it's a giant. Okay, so the third child will say, probably, but he met a giant when he was trying to enter the jungle. The giant said, "Hello, you are not allowed to enter the jungle." And, like things like that. So now what we'll do is, I have a set of card ready. Okay. Roshni, I'll need your help in just, muting the teachers that have raised their hand. Yeah, so we have Gurdeep from Veda Toddlers. She's raised her hand. I'll be showing the card, and the teachers will be telling me just one simple one or two sentences of the story, and the others who will be unmuted will be narrating the story with us. Okay, we'll be building the story. I'll be showing the card. Okay. Uh,
Participants, whoever name ma'am is going to ask, please just unmute yourself and like be an active participant in the session.
Okay, chalo. Then I am going to. All right. So can I have? So yeah, we have Gurdeep, Veda Toddlers. You can only unmute, and I'll be showing you the card.
Yes, ma'am.
Yeah, yeah. So the first card we have is school. So you can start your story.
Okay, let's have a story. Today we are going to have a story, and it's about Peppa and friends. So they are going to school in the morning, and their teacher, Madam Gazelle, is waiting for them. Are you excited for the school?
Okay, excellent.
Thank
Yes,
you, ma'am.
thank you. Yeah. Next up, okay, with school we have can I have Sai Lakshmi? You can unmute.
Yes.
Yeah, and now we have a spaceship.
There was, ma'am, I couldn't see the other
So
card,
the
ma'am.
first one was school.
School,
The
Okay,
second one
okay.
is spaceship.
Spaceship. Okay, okay. While while we were going to the school, I found a good spaceship flying over the school, and I was more excited to see the spaceship.
Okay, excellent, excellent. And thank you, Sai Lakshmi. Yeah. So
Thank you, ma'am.
here, yeah, the way she said it, we can also put it with connect it with what the other teacher had said. Like, she said about Peppa and Miss Gazelle. So here we can add is, Peppa looked up from her school and she and her friends saw a big spaceship and they were very excited to see it. Just on the same lines as the other teacher said, right?
Okay, okay.
So now we are going to continue this thing. So the characters we've got is Peppa, Miss Gazelle in school, and then they see a spaceship. Now next up, I want okay, Happy Kiddos. Okay, teachers, if anybody is interested, you can raise your hand. I can then, or you can unmute. Okay, Strawberry Kids. I'll show the next card.
Yes, ma'am.
Yes,
Yes, ma'am.
yeah, I'll show you the next card. Wait. Can you see the next card? 1 minute.
Yes, ma'am. Alien.
Yeah. So it's an
So the
alien.
Peppa see the yes, ma'am. So
Yeah.
when the Peppa saw the spaceship, he saw an alien waving to him, and Peppa was very excited to see an alien. He say, "Hi, alien."
Okay,
He was not
very good.
scared actually.
Yeah. Sorry. I missed out on the last sentence. Can you please?
The after waving the alien, the Peppa was not actually scared. He was happy to see the alien.
Perfect. Chalo. Great. Great. Next up, we have anybody else? Come on, teachers. Okay. Otherwise, can I have Anisha Goyal?
Please unmute yourself, guys. Teachers, please be an active participant. Yeah, Anisha ma'am is has unmuted herself.
Yeah.
Yes.
So come
Good
on.
afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah. Good afternoon. So the fourth card is the school bag.
Bag. Yeah, ma'am. Imagine for the school bag for some materials, notebooks inside, pencil, sharpener, erasers. You thinking about? Yeah, sure, ma'am.
So the alien asks Peppa, right?
Yeah, ma'am. Alien has was the imaging for the school bag for the these of things are in the school bags.
Okay. Very nice. Very nice. Come on, let's see now what happens. Okay. Next up we have, thank you, Anisha.
Thank
Next
you.
up, yeah, let's see. Uh, Aarti Priyanka. Okay, Aarti doesn't want to narrate a story with for us. Let's do Carol, play and learn.
Come on, teachers, be active participants. There are 100 participants. Please raise your hand and just help ma'am with completing the story.
Okay, I guess the teachers don't want to do the story with me. It's okay, I'll narrate the story. Not a problem in that. Yeah. So the teacher, then when the teacher, Miss Gazelle, entered the classroom, and there she saw Peppa and the alien eating the lunchbox which Peppa's mama had sent for her. And looking at this, the teacher got scared. The teacher's like, oh my god, I have to call the police now and tell them to take you and send you back to your planet. You cannot stay here on Earth with us. So the alien got a little sad. He said, "No, I want to stay here. It is fun." And Miss Gazelle, she gives him a storybook and lots of storybooks and tells him, "You can take these storybooks in your spaceship and you can learn all about Earth that you want to learn." And the alien goes back happily with his huge trunk of storybooks. So that's it. That's it, the end. So thank you, teachers, those who participated. So you can build these stories, and no doubt we were here narrating these stories. When you give these such cards to teacher to the children, they will come up with amazing stuff. All right, amazing stuff. So I do share, do try these stories, build a story together technique with the children, and please do share your feedback with us. We would really appreciate it. Thank you. Next up, let's just go ahead and see. We have prepping up. Now, prepping up, of course, teachers, we know you have to know your audience. You have to, when you do a story or when you're planning, like is it preschool? I mean, not preschool, but is it play school children or is it nursery? Is it junior, senior? How long can they sit? Will they be comfortable? At what time they will be comfortable? So these things, it's as teachers you have to keep in mind. So if you do a story right before their snack break, I am sure nobody's going to nobody's going to listen how much ever hard work we've put in, because uh, when the tummy is grumbling, nothing happens, nothing, we will not listen. So that's one. Know your audience. We have practice. See, practicing in the sense is, I don't want like you keep demonstrating it. See, initially, if you are just starting off, when it comes to narrating a story, I would say practice in front of the mirror, practice in, turn on the camera on your phone and just keep practicing once or twice. These stories are short, they don't take a lot of time. But when you see that over time, you will understand which expression worked, which idea worked, because by the time what story you've planned and what story you deliver are completely different. Yeah, so practicing. And second up, we have create a suitable environment. Where for this, I'll get to we'll talk about it ahead, but I have something which I would like to share with you all. So know your audience, as I said, what are their age group, their attention span, as I said earlier as well. So if it's children from play school, you cannot go beyond, like 4 minutes, 5 minutes is the maximum you can do. Don't go much, like 10, 12 minute story. It is not going to work. We have used colorful illustrations for these cards also, which I showed you. Just see the cards, how colorful cards we've taken, so that the children can relate to those cards. It attracts them. And repetitive language. Practice, of course, when I practice, of course, I tell you, different, what I just said, do it in front of the mirror once or twice. And once you get the hang of storytelling, you just do it once, in your mind, and you're sorted. But you have to reach till, I mean, you have to practice consistently to just then come up with it. But and of course, you teachers might be thinking, yeah, practice, practice, we don't have time. And here this female is telling us to keep practicing. I am not telling you to just give that elaborate 1 hour time to just practice a story, do this. No, it is just for us to get a hang of it. And if we start enjoying it, if we are not, for example, if we are not comfortable narrating a story, what the children are going to enjoy? If we are having fun, I'm sure they are going to love it. So teachers, of course, you may run out of time, but we never out of dedication, and that's what salute to the teachers. Uh, Now, this is something which I wanted to share. This is from our point of view, a practical approach. Basic, it is you can use the story as the base or to build your entire day's curriculum. For example, if again, let's just continue with Goldilocks. If you're doing Goldilocks and the Three Bears, fine. In English, what you can do in you can use, she's learning different sentences, sentence formation, asking questions, learning new words like porridge. Then it's hot, it's cold, learning opposites, that is literacy. Then we have math. So like this chair was big, then a medium size, then a smaller size, so they are learning different measurements, those concepts. Then we have same with Goldilocks. When we talk about art, you can come up, you can make give them cutouts and just tell them to build a teddy bear or anything, like it's just once you think, it can cover all the aspects, and all entire day's curriculum is planned and based and thoroughly done on the stories. With this, not only they learn, not only they connect to the concepts that you're teaching, but also the story. Value education aa gaya usme, sab aa gaya, like you talk about it and it is covered. We'll do that if I have more uh, teachers who are interested in giving their ideas. We would love to do that. Plan a curriculum based on a story. Next up, creating a suitable environment. So that ye ek hai ki free from distractions. If there are toys scattered around in the classroom, if there are books, if there's paint and whatever, any activity, a preschool classroom is a messy place, of course, we all know. So ye wo distractions agar wo honge na, then your story will not have that impact what it's supposed to get. You worked so hard for it. Ensure that your distractions na ho. Ek cozy corner. Now, I used to do this for my class. No doubt my classroom was very small. Like it is like, it was like, for suitable for a teacher and her. We used to have 11:1 ratio. And at that time, I had 8 or 9 children in my class. And it was that small enough and class for us. But we had made us a tiny little cozy corner. This is what I'm trying to tell you. A tiny little cozy corner wherein I just put a small rug. I had not bought anything. घर पे था वो जो था वो रख दिया था. थोड़े cushions थे. For example, like such soft cushions what we have. So these were at home, and I just I had kept few cushions. थोड़ा basket ले लिया था, उसमें books रख दी थी. And that had become a reading corner, a designated place for reading books, or for just calming yourself down, or whenever the story, or whenever I used to enter whenever I would sit on that rug, whatever the children were doing, end of the year, whatever the children were doing, they would leave and they knew that it is going to be story time now, and they would come and sit with me in that corner. Yeah, so we don't need an elaborate or huge classroom or anything. No, even it can be done in a small classroom. If you don't have place to put a rug, keep a rug rolled up in the corner. Every time you roll out the rug, the children will know that, okay, it's reading time, we have to go and sit on the rug. Yeah, so that's our point of view. And one more thing is the reading mascot. Now, mascot matlab, we don't want that, exaggerated cutout or anything. No hard work teachers. No, I have been there, I know. So you can just get a cuddly toy from home, or any old cuddly toy, make a sock puppet or any random stick puppet, or basically anything, a cutout. But this mascot should be introduced at the beginning of the year, and you can continue doing that by the till the throughout the year. So whenever this mascot comes out or narrates some, mascot comes out, the children know, okay, it's reading time, it's story time. So you can do that. This is just a thing that I would like to share. Storytelling techniques, as I've said, voice modulation, pacing. You cannot just go super slow in your story or super fast. It should be perfectly paced. Suspense आया तो थोड़ा रुक जाओ, थोड़ा the dogs are running. वो Dalmatian वाली story में the dogs were running. The parents Pongo and Purdy, they were running and to get to go to reach to their puppies. So they were running. So you increase the pace of your story of the thing. But when they are slowly sneaking out of that castle, so sneaking out तो हम थोड़ा slow हो जाएंगे, volume slow हो जाएगा. So वो थोड़ा याद रखना. Voice and modulation is that. Use of props. अभी हम props जो use कर रहे हैं, you have cut out. See, for example, I've just kept one thing. I don't know where is it. I have this mat which has a farm. Sorry, which has a farm design or a farm scenery printed on it. And for any farm story, I have been using that mat over the years. It had come with one of my kids' toys, and I don't know where the toys are anymore, but the mat is with me. So that's what I'm trying to tell you. एक कोई ऐसे props होते हो जो रखो, you can keep reusing them. And participation, as I tried to encourage you all for some participation, the same way, please encourage your children for some participation. They will, sorry, that is completely necessary and required for your story to be great. I'm just giving you 1 minute to just read through. The same thing what I've said. I'm not going to repeat it. Yeah, repeating phrases hai, ask them questions, let them answer, let them perform an action. Like how was in Goldilocks story, how was Papa Bear walking? How was Baby Bear crying when he saw his chair was broken? Things like that. Now, if I get a good, hands raised up, then I would like to plan a quick curriculum together, teachers, on any story, what of your choice, on these topics. Okay, so this is something which you will get. This is something which makes edu project sessions hatke, is what these things that we need to incorporate in our curriculum, and I'm dead sure it will do wonders for our children. Yeah, so just have a look. Any teachers, if you are interested, we can go ahead, or else if we can do this, otherwise let us just go ahead. So if I get few heads up, then just let me know, otherwise that's fine. But you have an idea of how you can incorporate a story into a curriculum. Yeah, okay, then let's just go ahead. I think the teachers, yeah. So some examples I just thought I'll put across. Okay, we have one teacher who's interested. Great, great. Thank you, Strawberry Kids. Anybody else? Okay, chalo. Then we'll do, since yeah, come on. Okay, let us just at least take one story. How about any story? The teachers you can select, and you can just give me an example of how to teach. Let's not do Goldilocks, since I've given you an example. You can use any story, or you can use the Lion and the Mouse or the Golden Touch. Okay, come on. Let's start with Strawberry Kids. You can unmute yourself and just tell me which story you're taking and how will you apply it in your curriculum.
The Lion and the Mouse.
Okay, great. Yeah.
For making, we can give them we can give them a cutout of a lion by giving them numbers to join from 1 to 10, and when they join it, come out a lion. So like
Perfect.
this,
Yeah.
we can use it in maths.
Huh.
And the vocabulary words, if we can use it for English, a big lion and a small mouse.
Huh. Huh.
Similarly, a big and small for the maths, and even vocabulary word for the English as well.
Yes.
Then connecting with the EVS is that the lion lives in a jungle, is a wild animal. Mouse at home, it's a pet or it's a nearby
Huh.
animal. So we can be connected to the EVS as well.
Perfect.
And if
Perfect.
we go for an art and craft, we can give them the puppets for coloring or some pasting.
Hmm.
For like this, we can use it for mouse or hand impression or paper folding mouse. So
Hmm.
take away so that they can take.
I can relate to that. Anything for
Yes.
value education which you would like to try to?
The moral of the story, we keep them, repeat them so that it's learning from them. And if we create some rhyme or
Huh.
sing to them, it is related to music and movement with their actions and the
Huh.
song they sing, the rhyme related to the story.
Yeah. Perfect. Perfect. Yes. Superb. Yes. Next up. Thank you. Thank you, Strawberry Kids.
Thank you,
Yeah.
ma'am. Thank you so
Yeah.
much.
Thank you. Yeah. Somebody else also did raise their hand. I Anybody else? Would you like to try, or do you want to go ahead?
Good afternoon, ma'am.
Yeah. Good afternoon.
This is this side from Strawberry Kids.
Yes.
Ma'am, we can also take a story that is The Milkmaid and the Two Pails. In
Hmm.
that, we can include some literacy words like milkmaid, pails. Also, we can include numeracy, that is number two, and some value education that we should not count our chickens before they hatch, means we should not think before we do. So,
Yeah.
these are some things which we can include in our curriculum.
Perfect. Perfect. Bang on.
Much.
Yeah. So, so superb. So now at that much, I know that teachers have understood how you can, of course, take the story and put it into your curriculum and make it like that, let it go through the day. And let the children be into it, let the children be involved in it. And yeah, one thing, of course, I would also like to share is one is you can also put in one of in a week where there's time or like 5-10 minutes and let the children enact these stories. I have noticed over the years, since my children are in second grade, I have noticed that if we keep pushing, if we encourage this enactments, drama since childhood, like since when they are in nursery or junior KG, they don't have that fear of stage, and they are quite confident public when it comes to public speaking, or their orator skills are very well developed. So if you get the time and nothing but enactment, when it comes to a story, the children can know it, they can do it confidently also. So just a quick a small suggestion, if you can put in, I know the curriculums are well jam packed and all, but if you can, this can help. Because for one of my, because my child one my son, it worked for him, because he used to do it with me when he was small, and we used to do, randomly we would pretend and we would do role play. But the other one was never interested, and now when I see my other one is not very confident when it comes to talking, in public or anything as such. So I'm just putting across some personal thing that I've learned, I've noticed and I've seen in my children, and just sharing it. So that's it. And next up we have yes, the examples. And thank you the teachers who participated. Thank you so much. We have some, okay, now these are the announcements from Edu Projects, what we would like to say. So you can we are coming up, we have this making your stories interactive software that we have. And in fact, I have also recorded for these. And wherein you can, when you are narrating the story, there are quiz in it, there are questions in it, and keeping the children interactive, like keeping it interactive with the children without being there, physically there. So keep an eye on that. You can, of course, your schools can ask our company, and they can help you out with that. We are coming up with a graded storytelling workshop as well, which is level 2, or a little deeper, going deeper into storytelling and the process of it. And also we have this, we've compiled this huge data of this concise data of age appropriate stories. which I said, if the story is age appropriate, it works wonders. Otherwise, it will be a little difficult. So we have all that. Please have a look. You can, get in touch with us and we can share more details about this with you all. And next up, demonstration. If anybody would like to demonstrate any story or just share the techniques which they use in their class, anything is welcome over here. Otherwise, we can just move ahead. Anyways, we've just extended the times a little bit more. So I know the teachers, you all will be in a hurry. Any questions that you would want us to answer, or personally speaking, I would all want that you all can mail it to us. We can connect with you, introduce yourselves, because it would have been great if we could introduce each other. But you can mail us your questions and we'll ensure that we will promptly reply to your queries or anything as such. And last but not the least, we have constructive feedback is welcome. Please put in your feedbacks. You can, send it to us. You can message or through, or you can do whichever way you wish to. But please, constructive feedbacks are welcome. Okay, I am getting some messages. Let me just have a look. Okay. All right. All right. Okay. So thank you so much, teachers. It was great having you all here. And thank you. Thank you so much. Namaste.
Thank you, all the teachers. Thank you, ma'am. Thanks for conducting such a great interactive session. All the teachers, thank you so much for being active participants, especially Strawberry Kids teachers, Veda toddlers who are already our clients.